morning, and thank you for joining us. I'm Caroline Collins. Hurricane Irma is just hours away from making landfall in Florida. An estimated 6.3 million people have been ordered to evacuate Florida and its surrounding islands. 9 people from right here in the valley already survived the storm vacationing on the island of St. Martin. I spoke with one of the survivors who says she's lucky to be alive after making it through the eye of the storm. A near-death experience for Jamie Madeline and Mike Lopovich. The Brookfield couple's vacation on the island of St. Martin took a turn for the worse as Hurricane Irma hit. The couple hunkered down in their room at Oyster Bay Beach Resort on Wednesday.
The ceiling started falling down on top of us, so we had pillows on our heads, and we had pillows up against the shower doors because I'm going to start to cry. Sorry, because they were glass as well. And then our bathroom door blew off, then our hallway door blew off, then our living room wall blew through, and the TV blew off the wall onto the floor, and everything was just flying around the room.
They tried to escape the island a few days before the storm, but there were no flights out. They ended up in the eye of the storm.
We just prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed till we heard it kind of calming down and the eye came.
With wind gusts up to 200 miles per hour, the island was left in ruins. With no water or shelter, they were now fearing Hurricane Jose that's on its way.
They asked anyone to bring any perishables out of the refrigerator, and that's what we had to eat. They would cook us, a little half a piece of chicken and some lettuce or something. Someone had it. We got to come home. Thank the Lord we got to come home before Jose was hitting tonight, because it would never have withstood. It was not structurally sound to ever withstand any tropical storm winds tonight or anything. And those people have to stay there. That island is devastated. It is flattened. These people have no walls. They're just standing out in the middle of the streets with their kids and nothing. They have nothing.
Jamie says she's so thankful President Trump and the administration sent military planes to bring the 2,000 Americans stuck on the island in harm's way to safety in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Our president stepped up to the plate like I've never seen. He saved the lives of many, many Americans today, because we would not have made it through the night tonight with Jose coming in.
Such a scary situation. They're expected to be back in the valley tomorrow. Andrew, you spoke with a couple, though, going through a similar situation.
Yeah, absolutely, Caroline. We told you earlier on 21 News at 6 that 7 Valley natives stranded in St. Martin have been rescued by the U.S. Air Force. Thankfully, now they're all safe. They heard a rumor earlier on today that C-130s actually were coming to evacuate people, so they actually sprinted to the local airport earlier on this morning. They were able to make the last flight out of St. Martin. Now are all safe at a resort in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Out of everything that happened, they noted the most upbeat people there were the locals, just happy they survived the storm.
Then I think the worst part about, the whole thing was we still have our homes and families to come home to. Those people over there lost everything. Like the island is just completely devastated. It is as if somebody dropped a bomb and blew up the island. And they're...
All right, Caroline, they'll be in Puerto Rico through Thursday, and then they get a flight to Miami, hopefully, depending on Irma's path, and then Cleveland. They think they'll be back later on this week, maybe potentially into the weekend. But overall, just so thankful that they are safe, thankful to the U.S. Air Force. They're just really, really positive. They stay positive through the whole thing.
Yeah, just such a devastating situation.
Yeah.
Now, you've been following the hurricane. What's the path looking like now heading towards Florida?
Now we turn our attention to Florida. As you mentioned, it's just south of Key West, but wait till you see the winds on this thing. Take a look at where it's heading right now. The eye wall there just south of Key West, and it's continuing to push up towards Miami. A lot of those feeder bands have continued to push that heavy rain into South Florida. Take a look at these winds. 96 miles per hour and 98 miles per hour recorded south of Key West. Now, this isn't the strongest winds. Right now, the winds are the strongest winds, 120 miles per hour, gusts at 150. It'll continue to strengthen and move up towards Miami, Fort Myers, and Tampa as a category, potentially a category 4, and then downgrade to a 3. We're looking at storm surges, Caroline, up to 20 feet near Marco Island. A dangerous, dangerous scenario there. We'll have the latest coming up in a few minutes, plus your local forecast as well.
Thanks, Andrew. While some people have been able to get out of Hurricane Irma's path, some are not so lucky. A storm surge has caused street flooding in parts of South Florida that are still hours away from feeling the complete wrath of Irma. The video you're seeing now is from a marina just north of Key Largo, an area in the upper Florida Keys. Waves are hitting the shore along US 1 Keys Highway, the main way in and out of the Keys. This road just off the marina is already 12 to 15 feet underwater. The Ohio National Guard says as many as 3,500 soldiers will be sent to Florida to help with the aftermath of Hurricane Irma. Soldiers from Ohio will be headed to Florida starting sometimes next week. It's the Ohio National Guard's first large deployment of soldiers for the U.S. disaster relief since Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Ohio Guard soldiers will be involved in providing security alongside local police and helping transport stranded people to shelters. Up next, flags around Ohio are being flown at half-staff to honor a former Democratic leader, Harry Michel. And 3 men in Warren are arrested and sentenced for trying to bring 22 pounds of cocaine from California to Ohio. A pregnant woman from Maryland is in the hospital after she was set on fire by her boyfriend. Officials in Capitol Heights, Maryland, rushed to the home of Andrea Greenidge just before noon yesterday. Greenidge told police her boyfriend doused her with gasoline, then set her on fire inside of her home. She was taken to a nearby hospital where she suffered critical burns. She later delivered her daughter 7 weeks prematurely. Police say the boyfriend eventually turned himself in and is now in custody. 3 men were sentenced today after being convicted of trying to ship $1.5 million worth of cocaine from California to Warren. They were arrested in 2015 after a source told Warren police and DEA agents that 22 pounds of cocaine had been stashed in a car leaving California. Police arrested the men at a Pacatans in Warren. They were sentenced to 5 to 30 years in jail. More than 500 people gathered at Eastwood Field in Niles to celebrate recovery. The Alliance for Substance Prevention held its 5th annual recovery rally today. Organizers say this walk gives people who are struggling with addiction inspiration to go on.
Treatment does work, people do recover, and it is something to celebrate, and everyone needs to know about it, because as long as we keep hearing about the bad stuff, we're going to lose hope.
She tells us the goal is to find out why people turn to drugs to help them overcome addiction. The Ohio Department of Health says mosquitoes caught in Youngstown have tested positive for West Nile virus. The news comes only a month after health officials found mosquitoes carrying the West Nile virus in other parts of the valley. Infected mosquitoes have also been reported in Canfield, Austintown, Lisbon, and Damascus in Columbiana County. Youngstown City Schools just finished up their first week of school, but a new list of teacher union grievances is now on the desk of CEO Krish Mohip. The complaints allege the district's administration violated teacher contracts. They claim some teachers were scheduled days without planning periods, lunch hours, and asked to work extra hours. And the union says teachers are being asked to work more hours per day than before. Mohip said in a statement he's addressing the issue. If you were driving around Youngstown today, you may have noticed that flags are being flown at half-staff. Ohio's governor ordered all American and Ohio flags at public buildings in Mahoning County be lowered in honor of former Senator Harry Michel. Michel was a longtime Democratic leader in the Senate and public servant for people in our region. He passed away on Monday at the age of 93. Hundreds of people gathered today at St. Nicholas's Greek Orthodox Church to pay their respects for Michel. YSU President Jim Tressel, dozens of political leaders, and many others went to the funeral in Youngstown. Michel was a World War II veteran. He obtained money from the state to create the Lake Milton recreation area. He was also an advocate for affordable education during his time as a YSU trustee. Taking a live look outside, they're a great night to head on out and have some fun. It's nice and cool. Meteorologist Andrew DePaulo will be in next with your 7-day forecast.
All right, welcome back, everyone. A little cooler today, but still a really nice day with plenty of sunshine out there. Just a couple fair weather cumulus clouds. Here are the numbers.